Alright folks, it's 11:55 Wednesday morning, actually Wednesday afternoon, and we are at the East Bank Trailhead. I'm talking we as Bev and her son Joel and I, and we are going in search of the northeast end of the Happy Panther Trail that we hiked from the other end a couple weeks ago. Have no idea what we're going to find. We are up in the North Cascades, if you're curious. This is Highway 20 that the cars are going by on. And with that, we are headed off to see what we will find. To check out the board, see what it tells us. Alright, this is where we're at. This is our Happy Panther Trail. So we head off down this one and make a quick left and then a right, and hopefully we'll be where we want to be. Let's find out. Well, it took a few minutes, but we found the trail. Happy Panther. It's off to the left of the trailhead sign, in case anybody's wondering. So let's head down and see what we find. From what I can understand, we have to go down here under the highway and then come back out. And then still go under it again later and get back on the same side we're on now. All interesting. Looks like the same easy trail, nice and wide, nice and flat. So with that, let's travel on. Well, we've only been hiking about 20 minutes, and we've come into a creek crossing. Have no idea what the name of it is. Coming down from the highway, that flat spot would be the highway above us. See if we can get a shot of what's inside here. Maybe one of those possible wet feet ones. There we go. And there's our view down below. Not sure exactly where the next footing is the best at. Now we get to video the other two as they come across. I'm glad I wore my boots. I almost wore my hiking shoes instead today. Let's go for it, Joel. Use your pole to keep the balance. Good job. Bev brought both her poles. I only brought one with me today. She came across easier than I did. Boy. All right. Now we know what we got to cross coming back. And you can see our trail wandering on up before. Well, about 10 minutes further up the trail, we got a whole bunch of these little tiny white flowers. Have no idea what they are. They definitely are putting out some kind of a smell to them. I guess some people would call it a good smell. You guys can keep coming. There's my hiking partners behind me. So the only real drawback that I'm finding to this part of the Panther Trail is that we're not very far from the highway. So unfortunately we are picking up the noises of the traffic going by. The cars aren't much, don't hear them too much, but when the semis go by, you can hear them pretty good. But it's still a nice trail for hiking. If you're looking for something that is pretty close to easy, this would be it. Another creek crossing. This one is coming right off from under the highway down this nice flat rock. We have to cross right here, so this is going to be another one that we're going to get wet because of this water splashing. Heads off further on down, turn correct. We'll get the top, see what happens. Not bad with one big step. You okay? This one's a little trickier to get across. All right. So we got two creek crossings that we're looking forward to on the way back that are almost guaranteed to get wet feet. Well, here's the first really somewhat decent view of, I believe it was called Ruby Arm, coming out of Ross Lake. Hard to see through the trees, but there it is. And we got this nice little bridge. To avoid having to do any spider crawling along the side of it. Not sure how many miles we've gone. We've been an hour and 10 minutes hiking, but we're going slow, so it's probably maybe at best an hour or a mile, maybe a mile and a half. Hard to say. So we've now come to Creek Waterfall number 3. This one has a good sized bridge getting across it. I'm trying to think if this isn't the bridge that we crossed on the other one, but I don't think it is. The last time, the other one I did, I was able to get right out onto the water edge. And this one I can't. There's a nice view of whatever creek we're looking at. Well, here we are at Creek/Waterfall number 4. We get another bridge crossing. We have now been hiking 1.5 hours, and we have approximately 2.8 miles in. We've got to be getting close to where we turned around when we started the other direction. Or we may have passed it. There was one spot back there a ways that looked familiar to me, but it's really hard to identify for sure. Two hours into the hike, about ready to turn around, came across this little walkout point. It is probably the best view of the arm off of Ross Lake. I think it was Ruby or Rudy, something like that arm. Anyway, you look through the trees there, I believe that's where the arm actually turns off, and that's the lake that goes further up. Great view. Don't want to get any closer to the sandy bank though. So we've turned around. We did 4.5 miles in 2.5 hours. So we passed our turnaround point that we did the last time, and we are now headed back to the car. There's our water down below. My hiking companions behind me. I just thought I'd show you a very strange sight for on the side of a mountain where we have this mossy and these other plants growing up on a very beautiful, almost like a meadow type thing. There's two of these along this trail. This is one of them. There's another one that's further down the other way. Really strange seeing it with all the moss hanging off the trees and growing off the ground. Very quiet, peaceful hike today. We saw one person, a jogger. He was going back to the trailhead, opposite direction we were, and that was at close to the start. We've had the trail to ourselves since. Been a beautiful day in the mid-60s for temperature, light clouds, sun breaks, and of course no rain. Well, at 4:40 we made it back to the trailhead, and we did a 9.4 mile hike in 4 hours and 40 minutes basically. That's pretty good. Came back to some beautiful blue skies, light clouds. Couldn't ask for a better day. Now it's time for some homemade brownies, and then we stop and have a nice juicy hamburger.